What's going on, everyone? We're back for a update on today's progress with the HKB State Championship. We've got 9 anglers on the water this morning on Lake Manitou fishing for the chance at the title of state champion. We've had 3 other state champions in the history of doing this. Mike Elsey won our first 2 seasons, and Glenn Landstrom took it last year. Someone's going to win it this year, and it's not going to be either of those guys. So the question is, who will be our 2024 HKB state champion? We did a little bit of a preview yesterday. We talked about the lake. We also did a little recap this morning and went over all the details, talked about who was catching them, broke down a little bit of the lake as well. And now we're getting ready to shut the leaderboards down here in just a few moments. So I wanted to take a second to go over the state championship results as of about noon local time. So guys have until 2:30 to fish, and then we're going to get off the water and make some decisions about tomorrow. Tomorrow is looking a little dicey. Weather-wise, we got some storms that are going to roll in at some point, but the bigger concern right now is the wind. So there's potential tomorrow might be delayed. There's also potential tomorrow could be postponed. There's the potential that we have a one-day shootout instead of a 2-day event. I'm going to watch the weather closely. Going to talk to some other people and talk to the guys after we get off the water today and make some decisions. Probably first thing tomorrow morning, take a look at what the lake looks like. The good thing about Manitou is it does have some ability to get out of the wind and still let these guys have some room to fish with only 9 anglers. So we're going to consider all that. But right now, what I want to do is take a second real quickly just to go over the leaderboard before we shut them down here in a few moments at noon. So let me share my screen with you here real quick. Get me down here in the bottom, and let's go through our day one leaderboard. I'm going to refresh this real quick just in case there was anything that popped up before. And here we go. Merlin Hammer still in the lead with 75 inches. You see he's all green there on his score. That means all of his fish have been judged. Ryan Platt in second place right now with 74 1/4. That's because he's recently put in a fish. Let's see how it's got to be in just the last couple minutes here. We'll take a look at that and see what he submitted. 11:46 a.m. So on the dot as we came live, he was putting in a fish. He is now in second place, right on the heels of Merlin Hammer. Merlin actually had a duplicate fish, caught it at very different times, but in the same area. Likely, one of those males getting up there guarding. So he would be a little bit ahead, but since that was a duplicate fish, I wasn't able to call, and that fish was removed from his total. So he's at 75 inches, still holding down our Killian Tile Lunker board with Big Bass of the Day at 19.5 inches. Eric Tracy caught an 1850 fairly early this morning, was originally in the lead. But Merlin surpassed him with his 19.5-inch kicker. Could be the difference maker in this event, especially if we're not able to get in a second day of competition. There's still plenty of time left. Actually, just got a report from another angler of a big fish lost. So they should start biting as this front starts to move in. We're forecasting to start having a chance of rain in that 2 p.m. hour, right as we're finishing up our day, with the larger risk of rain coming a little later in the afternoon. Tweezy, though, he's in third place right now, 69 1/4 inches. Like Merlin, has never seen the lake before today outside of just mapping some things around. I talked to him this morning. He stayed close to the ramp at first, and I said, talking to him just like how he's feeling, what his game plan is and stuff like that. And he said, what was it? He said, if you don't know where to go, don't go anywhere at all. And I thought that was pretty clever. So that was his way of approach. He was just going to start near the ramp and work his way out from there. Looks like it's paying off. He's got a decent limit at the moment, 69.25 inches. Not a big limit, but for this event right now, he's definitely still in the running. He's got a 14.75, a 14, a 13.75, 13.5, and a 13.25. So he's looking for that kicker bite, and then he'll be right up there with Ryan and Merlin. James Miller, we didn't hear from him until just shortly after our last live coverage. That he had submitted his fish a little bit later. He's got 66 inches right now, and it looks like he's got a fifth keeper in there that needs to be judged. So he's got a limit, looking good, still in striking distance like Tweezy. Ryan Reedy in the mix as well. He's got a real small limit here, just above minimum size for average keepers, but it's a limit. He's out there probably looking for that kicker, maybe looking for a couple smaller upgrades to keep him in the mix today. I told these guys last night, I told them this morning, give it all today. Put it all on the line. Don't leave anything out there, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed you're going to fish tomorrow. You're not guaranteed we'll get to make it up on Sunday. There's a chance that this is a one-day shootout, right? So, you got to fish hard today. Adam Murray, though, he's coming back. He's had a tough day. A couple struggles for him. He started off really well with the 15.75, and then we didn't see much from him, but he's put in 3 keepers in just the last few minutes. So we could be seeing a charge from the angler who probably has the most experience on this lake fishing with the Indy Knights over the last couple years. Well, not last year, but 2022. Adam put in some time on these waters. Hasn't been here since. Got to practice a little bit yesterday. He's fishing out of a kayak unknown to him. Adam sold his kayak later last year, got a boat, or earlier this year, I should say, got a boat, and he's dabbling in that realm. So it's good to see him out in a kayak right now and fishing and doing fairly well. He's going to definitely need to find, at least that 5th fish to stay in contention probably. But that said, things could flip tomorrow. Merlin's got a good solid bag today with a keeper. Conditions tomorrow, if he can't figure out how to catch him in that wind or how to get away from the wind and still be around fish, things could change. So no one's out of it yet, but Adam making a charge, maybe putting some of that experience he has on this lake to good use, and making some adjustments. And I know there's been some missed opportunities there for him as well as a couple other anglers, as there always is. So he's got to keep his head in the game, just like the rest of these anglers do. I'm sure there's a few people have looked at the leaderboard and saw that 1950, and that's weighing on them a little bit. That's a big kicker for this lake. That's a big kicker for any lake. Here in Indiana, if you get near 80 inches, you're in the running usually. Like you're right there to win. I said for the 2-day competition, it would probably take around 158. I think a lot of people thought that was kind of high, and it may be kind of high with the conditions that we have. I think if the cold fronts wouldn't have come through that we did have the last couple of weeks, we would have seen a few more big bites by this time in the day. But I think maybe some of those bigger fish are still, staging a little bit out. Maybe not too worried about eating at the moment, waiting for that warmth that is coming. We got a warming trend coming, starting really today, but doesn't seem like it because of the cold start tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. They're talking about record highs throughout the state of Indiana on Sunday. So things are going to get juiced up with the atmosphere. Things are going to get juiced up with the fish. Like that's just how it works. You start seeing those fronts, those warming trends, and the fronts come through. It usually starts to happen. You get those bites. Wind is your friend, they say, right? And now you start talking about 40-mile-an-hour gust. I don't know how friendly that is, but it will play a role tomorrow for sure. And I think we will see the bite pick up in the afternoon window today. And I think if we can get out on the water tomorrow and guys can find a space where they can get some cast in, they'll find some good bites. Eric Tracy still down there towards the bottom of the pack with 43 inches. And we finally have Wyatt Guard on the board as well, 37.5 inches. He's looking for those fourth and fifth bites. We haven't heard from Brant Sharp yet today. That maybe is technical difficulties. Maybe he's having a tough time. I'm not sure what's holding him back at the moment, but hopefully he's got some fish out there and just needs to get them submitted. Would love to see everybody get on the board today. Let's do a quick refresh real quick, see if we got any updates. And then if anybody has any questions or wants to hear about anything, we can get into that as well. I know a few of you watching here. We'll check the comments in just a moment. So quick refresh. We'll see where we're at. All right. Yep. Nothing too much has changed. We got Merlin holding down the hot seat, 75 inches with that 19.5-inch kicker. Ryan at 74.25. Tweezy, 69.25. James Miller with 66. He needs a kicker bad. Same thing for Ryan Reedy. Also looking for a kicker or some quality upgrades. He gets a couple 15s, changes things up a little bit for him. Wyatt Guard looking for fish number 4. He just landed, or number 5. He just landed number 4. He's at 54.25. Big jump for him. It may only be a couple spots on the leaderboard, but he's now one fish away to start moving up the pack here and putting himself within striking distance, especially if that fish comes in at that size or bigger that he just caught. A 1675, that's going to be, I think, our third biggest fish of the day so far. Hopefully that means the big ones are starting to eat and we can see this leaderboard light up. However, for you guys, we're going to shut it down here soon. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to shut this down and we will go over the results for day 1 later this afternoon when the guys get back in. I may give you guys a sneak peek or something like that in between as the leaderboard's down between that time and the results, but we won't have a full update or leaderboard for you all to view after we shut it down here just after this live. All right, let's get to some questions, see if we have any. How in the world does a lake like that end up hosting a championship? Sam throwing darts at the map. JT Hickman asked. Well, it's not random at all. In fact, very much thought out. So, the Indy Knights fishing the former KFL league. We chose that lake as our home lake due to some knowledge, one of the anglers on Mike Elsey on our team had, also due to cell phone coverage, amenities, all that kind of thing. It was a good space for us. We wanted smaller waters where we knew people could catch fish and have a good time, put on a good show. So we fished that for 2 seasons. We saw great success, a lot of fish caught in the 14 to 15 inch range. There was always limits caught for the most part. I think we did have a couple events where, it was a little rocky at first, but towards the end of the day, it really picked up. And that's kind of a key here for Lake Manitou guys. That always is the case. Seems like the afternoon really gets fired up and going. But it's a smaller lake with only 9 anglers competing because we only take AOIs and champions from our different organizations here in the state. It was the perfect setting for a state championship. A lot of fish could be caught, some big ones in there too. Something largely unknown to most of the field, which is hard to do in Indiana, but I thought if we could do it, it'd be great. And, something a little different. Most of these anglers all come from the southern part of the state, maybe central. But It's not a place that's ever been hit by any tournaments or organizations in the state outside of the KFL Indy Knights team hosting their home games there. That said, Grubby, as we mentioned in our previous live this morning, Grubby is hosting an event here. I believe it's their northeast. It could be the Northwest Trail. Is coming here for an event in July. So we will see our second tournament on here for the kayaks. Lots of boat tournaments here all the time, little clubs and groups. Believe the Indy Fishing League, which is a live format, all you can catch format. I believe they've been here at least once or twice. In fact, if I remember right, I think Adam was telling me yesterday that Jason, former owner of Soremouth Tackle, still very much involved, won an event there in the Indy Fishing League, and Aaron, and I think it was Aaron won and Jason was second or something like that. So yeah, definitely not a random just throw a dart at it selection, though I could see where it would seem like that. Yeah, Merlin's doing, JT said Merlin Hammer doing Merlin Hammer things. Yes, MH3 knows how to find a limit, and he found a kicker to go with it today. You know, not a guy typically known for catching the big ones, but known for catching quality limits and being consistent. I think the thing that's important to know about Merlin is that he's really good when it matters, right? Like he's won the last 2 SIAC championships. And now he's leading day 1 of the HKB state championship, and in a big way too. That kicker's a big deal. But Ryan Platt's right behind him. I mean, Ryan's won, and he's got the best consistency. You know, he's not in those 12s and 13-inch ranges. He's got 14s and 15s. So very, very likely that he could pop, you know, one in that 16 to 17-inch range. With the quality of fish he's on right now, and get right in the mix there. I mean, doesn't even need that. You know, a couple 15s puts him right in there. So we got a showdown. This is what I had hoped for. I thought it would be close across the leaderboard, and you know, a couple kickers here and there would make a big difference, and that's what we got. I'm excited to see that. I hope you guys are enjoying watching this. We're going to shut this live down, this live update, and we're going to shut these leaderboards down. I'm going to give you one last refresh and look before we do so. And then we'll be back this afternoon with a live if we can get it done with signal. If not, we'll post a video or at least some graphics and update of who's on top. Okay. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're out there cheering on everyone. It's awesome. I just noticed Jason Young in the comments, man. It's awesome to see you in the comments, dude. I can't wait to see you on the water again. I hope recovery's going well, man. I'm thinking about you all the time. And I hope to see you out back on the water again soon, even if it's just some fun fishing. But thanks for tuning in, Jason. Thanks for tuning in, JT, and commenting. Everyone else, appreciate you watching. If you're watching after the fact, make sure to go check out all the previous stuff as well. And live leaderboard is going down on Fishing Chaos right now. So if you want to look, get in there quickly because I'm about to shut it down. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you for the next update.